Okay, excellent. Okay, so tonight, I would like to welcome everyone to tonight's shiur. Tonight we are studying Parashat Shelach Lecha. In Eretz Israel, we're reading Parashat Korach, but in Chutz La'aretz we're reading Parashat Shelach Lecha, which is the story of the Meraglim, spies. So I'd like to thank again Jonah Hari and Meir Gabba for arranging the shiur tonight. Especially Meir made a special effort to put out the flyer, and Joe sent it out to publicize it. Bezrat Hashem, we're trying to be marbitz Torah barabim, zekui arabim, try and get it to many people who can enjoy the shiur, just like we're enjoying the shiur, to spread the Torah to more people. So Bezrat Hashem, spread it to your friends and share the link. They'll be able to enjoy the shiur and join us. The shiur is dedicated tonight Le'ilui Nishmat Rivka Bat Shena. Baruch Hashem Taniachena B'Gan Eden. Amen. And everyone wish Chaim Tovim, Refuah Shlema for all of Am Yisrael, especially Yavrei Alanomi Bat Leah Malka, Elisheva Bat Sheva Bat Rivka, and also for Yael Bat Rosette and Tigor Oshni Bat Rosette. Kelna Refana Lehem Ufrat and Eshfat Ufrat.
Sarah Nama Bat.
Thank you for reminding me. Sarah Naama Bat Rivka Lisa, and also for Rafael Chaim Ben Adar. רפואה של הנמה. כן, הרפאנה להם פתש ורפואה, הגוף רפואה קרובה לבוא. I'd like to welcome Avi Genish. Welcome, thank you for joining us.
Avi.
How are you?
How are you doing?
So tonight, we're studying the parashat of the Meraglim. Now, what does Meraglim? Meraglim means spies. In short, the summary of the story was Am Yisrael about to come into Eretz Israel. And then people said, listen, we want to find out what the country is like. We want to send in people to see the land. And Hashem said to Moshe, if you want to send Shlach lecha anashim ve'yaturu et haaretz. And they went in and they saw what was going on in the land, and they came back with big fruits. And they said, listen, people are dying here. It's a bad country. Ze haaretz ochelet yoshvei. It's a country where everyone dies. It's a bad country. We're not going in. Everyone cried. And they said, listen, where we're going to go? We're taking to a country where everyone's dying there. We don't want to go there. We want to do a U-turn and go back to where we came from. This is not for us. Apart from two tzaddikim, Yeshua and Kalev, they said, no, alo na'aleh v'nirashnu et haaretz. And that was the gzera that Am Yisrael were decreed. אתם בכיתם בכייה לחינם, אני אקבע לכם בכייה לדורות. That was on the day of Tisha B'Av. And then none of the Meraglim went into Eretz Israel, and everyone died in the Midbar, 40 years. And only Caleb and Yeshua went into Eretz Israel. Okay, that's the story. Now, we're going to start off with question number one. Meraglim. Everyone knows about the Meraglim. That's the cool parasha of the Meraglim. Rashi calls it Meraglim. But in fact, nowhere in the whole parasha does it say the word Meraglim. Are you surprised? It doesn't say anywhere Meraglim.
But in Sefer Dvarim it does.
I don't know what you mean in Sefer Dvarim. In Sefer Yeshua, it says Meraglim.
Yeah.
So is that what you meant?
But
But in our parasha, it doesn't mention the word Meraglim at all. The only place it mentions it in Rashi. What does it say in the? It doesn't say leragel. It says latur. Shlach lecha anashim ve'yaturu et haaretz. Right? And then it says em alchu latur et haaretz vayishlach otam Moshe latur et haaretz. Ve'alu ve'yaturu et haaretz. So what's the difference between latur and leragel? Right? Both seemingly similar. They go out to see the land and to discover it. So that's the first thing we're going to ask about. What's the difference between two of them? And the second question is, very interesting, but who cares? What's the difference? Meragel, latur, leragel. It's the same thing. Who cares? What's the difference? And I'm not a spy, so what's the difference for me? I'm living in the year 2023. What's the lesson that we can take out from the message of the spies? And we're going to see this is very fundamental to our daily lives every day, in everything that we do. And you're going to see this is going to be a game changer. This is going to change the way that we see things in life. So I'm going to bring your attention to the first Rashi in the Torah, in this week's parasha. Rashi says, Lama nismacha parashat meraglim leparashat Miriam. The last episode in last week's parasha was Miriam. She spoke lashon hara against Moshe Rabbeinu. What was her punishment?
Leprosy?
Yes. She was excommunicated outside.
Seem to have lost the rabbi. Hey, Avi.
ברוך השם, מה שלומך מותק?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good.
אני נמצא עכשיו בדובאי.
אתה בדובאי עכשיו?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So we said, Rashi asked, why is the parashat of Maraglim mentioned after the parashat of Miriam in the Torah? And Rashi
So
says,
was Miriam Moshe's wife?
Moshe's sister. Moshe's sister Miriam, yeah. You see,
אז
there was...
תן לנו קצת רקע על מרים שנבין.
Okay, so thank you.
סליחה על הבורות, כן?
No? Yeah. Thank you. So, last week's parasha, Miriam spoke about Moshe Rabbeinu. Why he's leaving his wife all the time. He's going to speak with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And she said it in a derogatory way, you know, almost accusing of Moshe Rabbeinu neglecting his wife, when Moshe knew what his duty was to his wife, and he also knew what his duty was to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to his people. And Hashem and Moshe Rabbeinu knew that he had to be pure all the time to be ready to speak to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's why he has reasons for doing that. Now, even though Miriam, of course, she was a sister of Moshe, she loved Moshe, she didn't mean anything bad about it. But the fact that she spoke something negative, that was already lashon hara, and she only said it to her brother Aaron. It was just between them two. So, and she didn't mean anything bad to happen to him. And nevertheless, she still got punished. And we see from this how bad it is to speak lashon hara. That she got punished and she got sent out of the camp for 7 days, and everyone we missed that, and everyone's supposed to learn a lesson from that. Listen, if she spoke bad about her brother that she loves, we have to be careful not to speak about other people, especially even people that we love, even people that are close to us. You know, there's no, two siblings, two brothers, or speaking about the other brother, or two friends speaking about the other friend. That's also lashon hara. Now the Meraglim, they saw the punishment of Miriam. לפי שלקתה לעסקה שדיברה באחיה, she got punished for what she spoke about her brother, ורשעים הללו ראו ולא לקחו מוסר. Now this is amazing if you look at it. Rashi tells you what the spies, they saw the punishment that Miriam got for speaking badly about her brother. And even though they saw it, they didn't learn their lesson. ראו ולא לקחו מוסר. From here we learn that is a rasha. Rasha means you see something and you don't learn your lesson, right? You don't make the same mistakes. That's how you say that, a wise man doesn't make the same mistake twice. Stupid man makes the same mistakes again. A wise man learns from other people's mistakes. And he says, rasha halalu ra'u velo lakhu musar. You see, you're supposed to take lesson. You're supposed to see what you see and learn from them. Now, I'm going to give you two examples we see in the Midrash. Okay? The Sefer Bereshit starts off with Avraham Avinu. Vayomer Hashem el Avraham. Hashem appeared to Avraham Avinu, and he said, go out from your land. Now, you ever think about it? Why did Hashem appear to Avraham? Why did Hashem ever come to me? And tell me what to do? Yeah? Why did he say to me, yeah, listen, Joe, you're living in the wrong country, move. Yeah, he did it to Avraham Avinu. Why doesn't he do it to me, to you? So I'm going to tell you this. Go on. Why? Yeah,
there's too much impurity around us.
No, so listen to this. I'm going to tell you what the Midrash says. Abraham didn't suddenly get an appearance from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There was a reason that God came specifically to Avraham Avinu. Why? So Midrash says in Bereshit Rabbah, Rabbi Yitzchak Patach, Shemi bat ura'i. Mashal echad. I'll say in English, okay? It says a story of a man who is walking around from place to place, and he sees a building. Okay, it seems like a deserted building. There's no one in it. Then he sees there's a light on. If there's a light on in the building, someone putting on the light, there must be someone in the building. Amar Tomar Bira Ze Belo Manhik. Can't be that there's no one here. And then the owner of the building, he opens the door and he says, yeah, it's me. I'm the owner of the building. This is my house. Okay, that means he's going from a place, maybe he's in a forest, and then he sees a house and he sees a light on in the house. He said, wait, if the light's on, there must be someone in the house. And then the man of the house opens the door and says, yeah, it's me. I'm the owner of the house. He says, when Avraham Avinu saw that, he realized the same thing is with the whole world. You see, there's a world, but you see, there's children being born, there's animals, there's people moving, the whole world is alive. There must be somebody who turned on the light. There must be a creator and an owner to the world. And that's what he says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu etzitz alav v'amar lo ani ba'al ha'olam. I'm the owner of the world. That means Avraham Avinu saw something, and then he realized, and he applied it to himself. All right, if you can make an analogy, you sometimes you see like a building site, and there's a building, they're building the building, they're putting up, the scaffoldings up, finish the first floor, second floor, third floor, okay. Then they do the exterior, then the interior, and the stages, they take off the scaffolding. But one day you see the lights on. When you see the lights on, that's how you know when people moved in. There's people living there. He says, Avraham Avinu realized this, and there's something, there has to be a master of the world. And that's when Avraham recognized Hashem. Once Avraham recognized Hashem, that's when Hashem appeared to him.
But why there is light? If there is no living, no need to be light. It's going to be dark. So light bring life. So it's nice to say light, life as well. So
Point.
Okay. You asking a question, Avi? You're saying
no,
light is life?
I'm just
Make a
give
comment.
the connotation and that
Okay.
I thought. Sorry.
But no, it's fine. But the message we see from Avraham Avinu that when you see something, you're supposed to think about it and learn a lesson from it. Just like we expected the spies to see what happened with Miriam and take a lesson, they didn't learn their lesson.
But I don't know why spies still spies and latour, it means ללכת ולהסתכל, to go and look and absorb. This is latour.
Yes, we're going to.
Spy is somebody that is going without permission, but latour, it's with permission. Just go and look. So
Okay, so very good. We're going to
is
speak
what-
about Avi. No, 100%. You're right. We're going to speak about it in a bit more. I just want to bring out a point. So I want to bring you another example from Moshe Rabbeinu.
Okay.
Okay, give me another example. Just I'm bringing the point that you're supposed to take lesson from something.
Mhm.
When you see something, you're supposed to take a lesson. Another example is from Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu, Hashem appeared to him in a burning bush. Betoch hasneh. Okay, so Midrash brings, how come Moshe Rabbeinu, he had the privilege that Hashem appeared to him betoch hasneh, in the burning bush? So the Midrash says, Rabbi Yossi Aglili Omer, Moshe Rabbeinu came out and he saw a grown man carrying the burden of a child. He saw a child carrying the burden of a grown man. He saw a man carrying the burden of a woman carrying the burden of a man, an elderly man carrying the burden of a young man carrying the burden of an elderly man. He said, this is Paro making the Jewish people suffer. Says Moshe Rabbeinu, I said, I can't see this happening. This is wrong. Moshe Rabbeinu came down and he helped them out. He saw somebody, he helped him out. He saw him struggling, he helped him out. אמר הקדוש ברוך הוא, אתה הנחת עסקיך והלכת לראות בצערן של ישראל, ונהגת בהם מנהג אחים. You went down, Moshe was prince of Egypt. Moshe was grown in the palace. Said, you left your place, which is high, and he went out to deal with the Am Israel like your brothers. אני אמניח את העליונים ואת התחתונים ואדבר עמך. I'm going to leave where I am, Hashem, and going to a little burning bush, and I'm going to appear to you. And that's where the pasuk says, Vayar Hashem kisar lirot. Hashem saw, Moshe Rabbeinu turned to see. What does that mean? ראה הקדוש ברוך הוא שמשה שר עסקיו לראות בסבלותם. That's the pasuk says, Vayar בסבלותם. So you see, Moshe Rabbeinu, he saw something, he didn't say, okay, nothing to do with me. He says, listen, I see something, I've got to do something. When you see something in your life, you're supposed to do something. Now, this is a very important lesson. Go down in Likutei Moharan Torah Nun Daled. Rabbi Nachman teaches this teaching from the Baal Shem Tov. So Hashem gives everybody רמזים, מזמין לכל אדם רמזים כדי לקרבו לעבודתו.
Yeah.
Everything that you see, Hashem makes you see for a reason. Not only everything that you see, but also everything that you think appears in your mind. It says that also from Hashem, that is for you. Now, just give you an example. When you see something, you're supposed to say, okay, why does Hashem want me to see this? I saw this, okay. Once you're driving, you see a car accident. Okay, maybe I'm supposed to be more careful with my driving. Hashem's trying to give me a lesson. I'll make a note of that. Okay. Or when one person's thinking about a project, he's thinking about business the whole time. Okay, Hashem put that idea in your mind. That's what he wants you to be doing. Depending on each case what it's supposed to be. But each thing that you see, you're supposed to take to heart and think about it, why Hashem wanted you to see that. צריך להעמיק מחשבתו בזה, ולהגדיל בינתו להבין מהו הרמיזות בפרטיות. What is Hashem trying to show me?
סימנים.
Simanim, remazim. Okay. Now we're going to get back to the original question. What's the difference between a tayar and meragel? So I've quite rightly told. The big difference is like this. A tayar is a tourist. A tourist goes to see, like, the Japanese tourists, famous, they take pictures of the whole world, everything. Right? People think they're going to spy out every country. They've got everything in the world on film, on camera. A tourist goes to a country to see the beautiful sights of the country. To see the beautiful buildings, the beautiful views, the famous places, to say how nice the country is, to look at all the good things in the country. And Maragel is a spy. He goes in undercover to look at all the bad, the dirt that there is in the country, to spy out on the country, to see the weakness of the country. This is that's L'Ragel. When Hashem sent the people, I said, Shlach lecha anashim natur et haaretz. Go see the beauty of it. It's a beautiful country. Go see all the goodness I want in it. Such bracha, beautiful fruits, big fruits. But Rashi says, Rashim alalu ra'u v'lo lekhu musar. They saw and they did exactly the opposite. Mishnah Anavot teaches us, Eizu derech yeshara shidbak ba'adam. What is the correct way, the right way that a person sheyidabek ba? So this is my way of life. Rabbi Eliezer omer ayin tova. Ayin tova. I said, this is the idea. I heard this maybe 3 or 4 years ago. My uncle Ben Chaim, Shlomo Ben Chaim zichrono livracha, זה האזכרה of Parashat Shelach, and the rabbi there said this דבר Torah about meragel, the difference between meragel and the difference between tayar. But it means ayin tova means you can see something, you can look at it in a good way, in a positive way, you can look at it in a negative way. Eretz ochelet yoshvei, the Gemara says, what does it mean? Whenever city they walked into, they saw lots of burials. Don't know when's the last time you saw a burial at Levaya. But they're just walking from city to city, and there's burials everywhere. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, ani chashavti letova. I was trying to do you a favor. Well, what's the favor? He says, listen, if you've got spies, you've got men, 12 men coming into a country. Now they're traveling alone, without women, without children. right? And how dodgy does that look? That looks very suspicious, right? In the Haftarah, which we read, Yeshua sent in 2 spies, and the second they came in, they already got identified and already wanted. They're already searched for. And here you've got 12 spies walking around the country for 40 days. No one takes notice of them. Why? Because Hashem made it that when they're there, they all got buried. The Rav Chida says that they had the minhag in those days. When someone died, they didn't bury him. They put him in the side. And they put him in a cupboard, in the freezer. Another person died, they put him in the freezer. Another person died. They used to gather up lots of dead bodies until the greatest person of the generation died. And then they bring out all the coffins. So the Gemara said, when the spies came in, Eov, he died. And the idea behind it was because they think, okay, a person doesn't have enough merit to go up to Gan Eden on his own merit. So when the Gadol Ador dies, everyone goes up with him. He goes up to Gan Eden, and everyone will going to go with him to Gan Eden. That's how they bury him. So they all kept them. You know, it must have been very smelly to keep a dead body for a few days already rots. But every city they went into, they saw lots of burials and tons of bodies. Now, why did Hashem do that? Hashem especially made it that everyone will be busy with burying their own dead, that they won't notice these 12 spies going La Tour Haaretz, that they'll be free to go and discover the land, look at all the good things about it. But instead of looking at that, what did they think? They think, listen, and Hashem said, Ani chashavti letova. Everything I did it for your goodness, so that you should go and walk around freely. That no one should ask, why are you doing here? Why'd you come? How long are you here for? What are you trying to do? Likvosh et haaretz. And they just saw the bad things about it. They went back and they told everyone, Eretz Ochelet Shvi'ah. So Hashem said, Hashem, you latur et haaretz. Where's your ayin tova? Instead of saying Shtabach Shemo, Hashem was so kind to us. When we were there, no one noticed us. We walked around freely. Everyone was busy burying the dead. Instead of saying that, they came back saying bad things. Why? Because they're meraglim. That's what Rashi says. הם מרגלים כי הלכו לרגל הדברים הרעים. Hashem decided, said, לטור את הארץ. Go look for the דברים הטובים. Look at the good things. But they went לרגל to look at the bad things. Now you see in Yeshua, in Haftarah, it says meraglim. Why? Because what did Yeshua send? He sent his 2 tribes to conquer. They wanted to capture the city. So when Yeshua sent the meraglim, he says, "V'shlach meraglim," because that was really what they wanted to do. They wanted to find the weakness, how to get the city down. But when Moshe is sending the spies, he sent them to et haaretz. And in fact, who were the 2 good spies? Yeshua ben Nun v'Kalev. Pasuk says, Yeshua ben Nun v'Kalev benifonehen min atayarim, bin atarim et haaretz. They said, Bnei Israel, amul Bnei Israel, הארץ אשר עברנו בה לתור אותה, טובה הארץ מאוד מאוד. It's a very good land. So here we see that everything a person sees in life, you're supposed to take notice and see what it means to yourself. And everything you can look in a good way, a positive way, and a negative way. Okay, I'd like to say the story of Rabbi Frankel. This is a story I heard from Rav Elimelech Biderman. He says that all the grandchildren of Rabbi Frankel from America needs to say thank you to the business partner that robbed their grandfather. What was the story? Yeah. Joe, maybe you want to mute? Thank you. He says there were 2 business partners. They went to America from Europe. They left all their families. They said, we're going to do business for a few years. We're going to come back with a lot of money and we'll help out our families. So they went to America. After 3 years, they put everything in the bag. They're ready to close and leave. And Baruch Frankel, his father, he was notified that his father died and he needed to set Shiva. He said, Ribono Shel Olam, I'm without my family. I've been here for 3 years. I haven't seen any members of my family. I'm just going to have, and now my father dies. I can't even get to see my father before he dies. He doesn't know. Akol tova. Okay, he's sitting Shiva. And his business partner comes to him and he says, listen, I'm trying to get ready, organize the papers for the bank. Please just sign me some papers and then we're ready to go. He comes in while he's sitting Shiva. and he gets him to sign the papers. Okay. When he gets up from the shiva, he goes to the bank to try and get his portion of the money. And the bank said, listen, it's all cleared down. Partner took everything. And then he realized that in his shiva, though he's sitting there for his father, he got robbed by his business partner. And he said, I don't understand why you're doing to me. My father died. I'm sitting shiva. Don't see my family. I'm working for 3 years. And now I get robbed and I'm left penniless. Instead of going home with all the money, I have nothing. He said, okay, I'll call it over. What can I do now? My money, I say. I can't go home without anything. I have to stay. I have to start again. He starts again from scratch, without a penny, trying to make business. For another 2 years, he makes more money. After 2 years, the World War II breaks out in Europe. And the Jewish ghetto, where the Jewish community where he was, all his family was there, was all attacked by the Nazis. Because he was in America for a period of 5 years, he was eligible to get a green card and for an American passport. And he was able to get also visas for all his family. So he issued visas and he got all his family out of Europe and brought them to America. And his business partner, all his family, they all died in Europe. So when he was thinking, why did Hashem make his father die and make his business partner rob him, is because he said, listen, I'm protecting you. You're a good Jew, and I'm doing you a favor. There's going to be a war in Europe. You need to be saved, and your family needs to be saved. 3 years is not enough. You need to be here for another 2 years. You're going to make more money. Don't worry about money, we'll come back. But you need a visa to get your family out. I'm doing it for your good. So, אתם חשבתם לרעה, ואני חשבתי לטובה. He said, you need to look at it in a good way. And this is everything in life. There's 2 ways to look at it. You can look at it in a positive way, and you can look at it in a negative way. And that's how much importance the difference between a maragel and a tayar. Now I'm going to share with you a Zohar Kadosh. Every time you get on the plane, or Gilad's been doing that recently quite a lot, but every time a person gets on a plane or even a ship, when you cross the Yam or Midbar, or someone who is hospitalized, or someone who gets out of jail, you make a bracha gomel. Odeh Hashem b'chol levav b'sod yesharim ve'edah.
When you say, but when you say it in Minyan,
you say it with Minyan, yeah. When you go to either Minyan or you get to Sefer Torah, you usually say it. When you come back, you make it a bracha. What is the Zohar Kadosh? How does it explain the bracha? Odeh Hashem b'chol levav. What does it mean? I'll thank Hashem b'chol levav. B'chol lev. Odeh Hashem b'chol lev. I'll thank Hashem with all my heart. What's b'chol levav? What's the difference between lev and levav? Very similar.
זה שני הלבבות.
רבים, לא?
We said, when he said, I will thank Hashem with all my heart. Odeh Hashem b'chol levav. Say, Odeh Hashem b'chol halev. בכל לבב, says the Zohar Kadosh, ביצרה טובה וביצרה בישה. With your yetzer tov and your yetzer hara. That means there's 2 sides to your heart. Your heart has a yetzer tov side and a yetzer hara side. That means b'chol levav. That means even with my negative side. Al kol ha'it le'odah l'kadosh baruch hu. Everything I'll thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what he's talking about. Like this story. He will thank Hashem even when he was sitting shiva for his father. Thank Hashem even when his business partner stole from him. He'll thank Hashem. Everything which is bad happening to him, he'll thank Hashem. When he crosses the sea and he's in danger, he will thank Hashem. When he runs and he lives, everything I'll thank Kadosh Baruch Hu. From every side that comes to a person, you always thank Hashem. Now, what's the continuation of the pasuk? Besod yesharim ve'edah. So there's 2 things: Sod Yesharim and Edah. Sod Yesharim is the Malachim. Malachim are called Yesharim. Right? They stand straight. They don't walk. Angels don't walk. They stand straight, and they stand straight also in their own level, because they can't go up and down level. A Malach, wherever he's born Sarafim, he stays Sarafim. He's born Ofanim, he stays Ofanim. Chayot HaKodesh, Malachim, everyone in his level. Gabriel is Gabriel, Michael, they can't change. But a Jew can change. A Jew can go up a level, can go down level. That's the neshama. So we're not called Yesharim, but Yesod Yesharim. It says, Besod Yesharim, says the Zohar Kadosh, that kol razin the kulshabach inon yadei. The angels, where are they? They're up in Shamayim. They know all the secrets. That means when something bad happens to us, it's not really bad. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Atov HaAmiti. We don't see the good side of it always. So in truth, they know all the secrets. Sod Yesharim. Sod, why is it Sod? It's a secret. You don't know that for your goodness. We're doing a surprise. Az Yamales Chokpinu Shonenu Rina. When Mashiach will come, then we're told that how all the bad things are suffering. That was all good. That was all part of the secret plan. That was a part to save us. We were crying why we lost a job. We were crying why the cars got crashed. We were crying why this happened. Why we got diseased. Why I was ill for a few days. I was complaining. That was for my own good. That saved my life. I have to thank Hashem for that. The Sod Yesharim and the angels, they know it. They know the Sod. The Yesharim, they know the Sod, they know the secret. Veda is amongst 10 people. Veda is when we get a minyan, that's called Eda. We call them the Eda. That's why also with the 10 spies, they're called Eda. Eda is anyone you have a minyan, that's 10. So Odeh Hashem v'chol levav b'sod Yesharim ve'eda. I come to thank Hashem with all my heart for the good and for the bad, for everything, because Sod Yesharim, all the angels, they know the truth that everything is for the good. And I'm going to say it like Gilad said in a minyan, the Eda. And I tell everything thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. On that night when they cried, says Gemara Sanhedrin, Kuf Daled, Vatisa kol ha'eda v'yitnu et kolam v'yivku ha'am b'alayla hahu. They all cried. Where are we going? We don't want to go to this country. No, we're talking about grown men crying. They're really all scared that they're going to die. Amar Rabbi Amar b'Yochanan. Oto lilah was Leil Tisha B'Av. Amar lena HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Atem bachitem b'chiyah shel chinam. You cried for no reason. You cried for no reason? I'll give you a reason to cry. Ani ekva lachem b'chiyah ledorot. Every year, we're suffering on Tisha B'Av, and it's still kapara for the Chet HaMeraglim. Beit HaMikdash HaRishon was destroyed on Tisha B'Av. Beit HaMikdash HaSheni was destroyed Tisha B'Av. Lochot, all tragedies happened on Tisha B'Av. I think also the expulsion from Spain was Tisha B'Av. Kristallnacht in Germany was Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av.
Was
מי
there
בחר
also
את המרגלים האלה?
Sorry?
מי בחר את המרגלים האלה שילכו לשם?
Okay, so these Meraglim, they were the chosen from each tribe was chosen one member, okay? And they were the elite. It was the Nasi of the tribe. Each tribe had one representative. So from Shevet Ephraim was Yeshua ben Nun, and Caleb was from the tribe of.
But it looked like they want to punish us.
Caleb's tribe of Yehuda. No, doesn't look like they want to punish us. And let me understand. If you appreciate that Hashem is a kol tov and He wants to do for your own good, so why are you complaining? Yeah, I'm trying to help you do a favor. Okay, I'll give this example. You see, many people have an operation. The doctor does something for them, and they want to help him. They give him presents. Thank you, doctor. I said, but you just, you cut me open. You did an operation. You cut me. You stitched me up. Yeah, because it's for my own good. You appreciate that. You pay the doctor. And if you're patient, appreciate that Hashem is the best doctor. Not only for the goof, but also for the neshama and for your whole being. It does everything l'tovatcha. You're not going to complain. You want to give a present to Hashem. That's what you're going to want to do. So Am Yisrael, after seeing everything experience that they had in Mitzrayim, Kriyat Yam Suf, Matan Torah, the Nisim Bamidbar, the Man, the Be'er Miriam, everything, and now what? Okay, so you see, if you're dead people, you can't think about what you're seeing. You're supposed to litbonen. Hashem did it for you for a favor. This is another favor. Think about it.
But what was the secret in here? Because I'm just trying to think, yeah?
Okay.
I'm saying like that. Okay, we're talking about the Kadosh Baruch Hu, we're talking about Malachim. This is the people that already know what's going to happen.
Right.
No people that like us don't know nothing, idiots. They know the future, yeah? Even our great Chachamim saw את אחרית הימים. אז ככל ויש לנו, מדובר כאן על מלאכים ועל הקדוש ברוך הוא. עכשיו, אתה יודע מה הולך לקרות, ואין לנו כאן שום הגנה. למה זה קרה? זה שאלת השאלות. למה האם אתה יודע שזה בן אדם פסימי, בן אדם שרואה שחורות, למה אתה שולח אותו לשם? תיקח את זה שהוא לא פסימי.
יפה מאוד, יפה מאוד. אתה שואל יפה. והשאלה באמת יותר נכונה, זה מה אנחנו אמורים ללמוד מפה. That's really the question we want to ask. What are we supposed to learn from this? Okay, this story happened. The Torah brings it down, and we're supposed to learn from it. Rashi says at the time they were chosen, ksharim hayu. Rashi says in the beginning they were ksharim. They were anashim tovim. They weren't bad people. So after when they rose to importance, to power, it seemed like they gava alalem larosh, and then caused them to fall. But when it's put down in the Torah and we read the parasha, we're going to the Knesset on Shabbat, we're going to read this parasha, we're supposed to learn a lesson. What's the lesson we're learning? That when we see things in life, we're supposed to look at the good way of it. We're supposed to look at it in the positive way. That's the Gemara says in Brachot.
Look at the bright side of life, yeah?
Yeah, but it's not only look at the bright side. We're supposed to appreciate even the dark side of life. Gam ze letova. Lagid ba'boker chasdecha ve'amunatcha balilot. When everything is good and shiny, as bright, he said it's life, okay, so I thank Hashem, yeah. Baruch Hashem, child is born, Baruch Hashem, child getting married, but what if the opposite? This is the depths. When you see even people dying, you're supposed to see that's also for the benefit. Now that's already much harder, madrega. But the Gemara says in Brachot, Chayav Adam levarech al hara'a, kishem shemavarech al tova. Shenemar v'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha bechol levavecha. Ma ze levavecha?
Evil inclination as well.
Both,
Evil,
on both sides. And the Rambam, yeah, now why is that? So the Rambam says, Chayav Adam levarech al hara'a betov nefesh. Not just break a bracha, Baruch Adayan Amet. You're supposed to say, okay, כדרך שמברך על הטובה בשמחה, ואהבת את השם אלוקיך בכל מאודיך. בכלל אהבה יתרה שנצטווינו בה, שאפילו בעת שיצייר לו, even when it's painful, יודע וישתבח בשמחה. Because even if we're suffering pain, but if we know that it's for our own benefit, you see, be בשמחה, okay? My grandfather, זיכרונו לברכה, Saba Yaakov, he was a healthy, strong man. He lived, Baruch Hashem, a long life till the age of 95, maybe more even. But at the end of his life, he needed to get his leg amputated, to cut off his leg. Now, to cut off his leg that is a difficult decision to make. No one wants to live without the leg. Everyone loves the leg. And I remember my uncle Chaim. He said he had to make the decision. He was responsible for him. And he saw, listen, he's not eating. He's just in bed all day. He's being sick. The disease has just taken over him. You can't leave him like this. And he said, I felt it was a mission. It was a shlichut kodesh v'mitzvah to get this done. And he went to the doctor and he paid the money and they cut off his leg and they put him in a wheelchair. And he recovered. He was more healthy. He was eating. He was smiling. He was joking. He was back. He brought spirit. He brought life back to him. Now the doctor cut off his leg. And not only that, he said, thank you for it. And he paid him for it. I said, this is the message. Sometimes, okay, we take a bite. We get an ouch. We get a sting. Sometimes Hashem gives us something and we have to deal with it. But we have to appreciate that Hashem is doing for the best of our whole well-being. It takes everything into consideration. And that's what we need to thank Hashem for. Like we thank the doctor for cutting off the leg of the grandfather, we thank Hashem for doing the same thing. Now I want to share a story with you and my brother. Some of you may have heard it last week. My brother Uriah, Arav Uriah, about a month ago, he had a baby boy. Called him Elchanan. I don't know if you know the story. This child was born with heart problems. I don't know the details, but he had some issue with his heart. They already knew from pregnancy. And I don't know what the details was, but he was born 1 month premature. And he was born on the 8th month. He had an emergency cesarean operation. The child was born, and he had after a week of being born premature, he had a heart operation. Now this baby, I don't know, it's what, 3 kilos, and he's already having a heart operation.
So, Rabbi, you forgot to mention prior to the birth that she was told that there was a.
Okay, so
Sorry,
thank you,
I
John.
know.
So in the pregnancies, they were told that there's a problem with the child, and they had to make the decision what to do. Now the professors, the professionals of the heart cardiologists, they told her, listen, this is danger for the child. We don't know if he's going to live and if he's going to make it. Even if he's going to make it, he's going to suffer. We recommend that you give up on the child and just forget about the child. You know, Baruch Hashem, you have other children. You will have other children. This child, it's not for you. You know. And they asked some even rabbis and some of the also great medical expert rabbis. They said also that you have a heter. Also, you don't have to continue with this baby. There's option to do an abortion. He asked a few rabbis, they all told him that. He asked one of my good friends, Max Godfrey, he was in school with us, he's a cardiologist in Israel. And he said, listen, there are permission if it's for the baby, if anyway he's going to be suffering. Okay. Now my brother, it was his decision to make with his wife what to do with his child. And he went to Rabbi Yossi and he said to him, what do I do? He said, listen, you don't have to. If you want, you can bring this child. And if you want, you have a there also not to bring this child. But it's up to you. And he sat down with his wife and his wife said to him, he said, Hashem gave me this baby. I'm going to have this baby. If Hashem wants to kill the baby, he can kill the baby. I'm not killing the baby. I'm going to bring this baby. And he said that the worst that can happen, he will live and then maybe he'll suffer and then he'll die. That's the worst thing that can happen, right? But if I don't bring him, then his neshama will never come down to the world. And I want to have the opportunity to at least bring down his neshama to the world and live. That way, at least he can go to Gan Eden. That was the very brave decision he had to make. Now, why am I telling this whole story? If you can imagine the months that he had during the pregnancy, he was crying all nights and he didn't know what's going to happen. You know, Baruch Hashem, now they made it after the operation. The baby's home. They called the baby El Hanan, is a present from God. But when they made one of the checks that they had to do on the baby, they came in and they found out that the mother was in a specific danger. That the placenta was upside down and it was putting pressure on the mother. And they said that you have to stay in hospital. And he said, listen, I can't stay. I've got children at home. He says, no, you have to stay because your life is in danger. He said, listen, I'm going to go home. He said, you don't understand, if you bleed, then you're in danger. She said, okay, I'll go home. If I bleed, I'll come back. He said, lady, you don't understand. If you bleed, you have 10 minutes, you lose all your blood. You're not going to be with us anymore. He said, you have to stay here. And for this reason, my mother was in Israel, I don't know if you knew that, from Pesach almost to Shavuot for a period of 6 weeks just to look after the other children at our home. And afterwards, we realized that the whole issue that they had with the baby, it was only because of the baby that they found out there was any issues with the mother. Because if the baby would have been normal, the mother would have never gone to the checkups because of this was a serious problem. They would have never discovered for the mother. If they would have after have a late cesarean or emergency, if the mother would have started bleeding, that would have been the end. Which basically means that this child basically saved his mother. And that's what I'm saying here is Laudot LaHashem on every midah midah. The Brit, he did a Brit in his house. And when he did the Shema Yisrael, he was just crying at the Brit. During the Brit and after the Brit. Just saying to Hashem that his wife came back alive at home and his baby is alive and breathing. And just thanking Hashem for the nest that he had. And this is a lesson for all of us. Le'olam, to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu al kol davar b'chol levav. Levarech al hara al tova. Not just to look at the bright side. The bright side, of course, thank Hashem for the bright side. But also for the difficult things in life. Okay, life is not all peaches and cream. Everyone's got the difficulties. But let's think about it. Hashem loves me. He wants the best for me. So why do I have this? Okay, I need to learn from this. It's something good. I need to improve on. Hashem is sending it to me, a message. Let's learn from it. Like the spies, open your mind and think about it. Look at the good things. And if we thank Hashem for the good things, then of course we're going to be blessed more. Gemara tells us in Mesechet Sotah, Yud Aleph, L'olam midat tova meruba midat haporanut, which means God's gift of granting goodness is much more than midat haporanut, of punishing. So if Hashem says, you cried for no reason, I will give you a reason to cry for generation on Tisha B'Av, which is the 9th of Av. Av is the 11th month of the year, and it's the 9th day of the 11th month. That's the Jewish 9/11 day, is Tisha B'Av. And you cried for no reason, I'll give you a reason to cry. 9/11 is Tisha B'Av. And I remember the words of Rabbi Netanel Dadoun. So if a person has no reason to thank Hashem, and he thanks Hashem, then of course Hashem will give him more reason to thank. Because midat tova is meruba midat poranut. So if you cry for no reason, Hashem gives you a reason to cry. But if you thank Hashem for no reason, then of course Hashem will give you a lot of reasons to thank Him for. Right? Imagine if I do you something and you say, okay, thank you. Well, you thank me, that's nothing. I'll show you what's good. Hashem will give you much more reason. When do you have no reason to thank Hashem? When you're suffering, when it's difficult. You say, Hashem is difficult and I'm suffering, but I'm not complaining. I'm going to thank you. I remember I was once sitting in the Shiva. It was Rabbi Shimon, Sheyecheh, Abu Chatzera. He lost his son. It was the most painful levaya I ever went to. More than 1,000 people, everyone crying from the beginning to the end. It was a young guy, 20-something years old. He got run over on a motorbike by a tractor. There was an Arabic driver. No one knows if it was an accident or if you go out and it doesn't make a difference. But he died and he left his wife pregnant with a child. It was the saddest moment. Everyone was crying everywhere. And I went sitting to the Shiva. And at the Shiva came one of the greatest men in the generation, Rabbi David Abu Chatzera from Nahariya. He sat down with Rabbi Shimon. And you can't imagine uncontrollable crying. There's nothing you can say to a man that lost his son. It's just, what can you say to him? And he sat down and he spoke to him very soft, calm way. And he was listening. And I was also, everyone was listening. He spoke so softly. Now, one of the sentences I managed to catch was, he's saying, why did this happen to me? How come all his Avot HaKadoshim didn't protect him? And he says, we don't know. Hashem has his reasons. We don't know. Hashem has his reasons. And we need to thank Hashem. And he said, what do you want me to thank Hashem? How can I thank Hashem for this? He said, thank him. Thank him that you had the privilege to have this neshama in your house, that you managed to see him grow up as a child, you managed to see him graduate, you managed to see him under the chuppah, you had the privilege to see a grandchild from him. Thank Hashem for all of that. You had this chut. Now, okay, that's the end. It's a pikadon, but thank him for that. And that's the way he calmed it down. You see, this is the best way to live your life. Thank Hashem. And in the words of Rabbi Netanel Dadoun, if you thank Hashem when you don't have reason, Hashem will give you more reason to thank. So let's just summarize. Today we learned 3 principles in Emunah. Number 1 is that we have obligation to look at everything that we see as a message. Look at what we see. There's a remez min hashamayim. Hashem is trying to tell us something. That's lesson number 1. Lesson number 2, look at everything with a good eye. Like a tayyar, like a tourist, not like a maragel. We're not spies in the world. Not trying to look at everything, what's going wrong in the world. Look at everything, the good things there are in life. Yeah, thank Hashem. Rabbi Nachman said when he used to make Birkat Hamazon, he didn't just say thank you for the food. He used to go into detail. Hashem, listen, I really enjoyed it. Thank you for the rice. Thank you for the salad. It's nice to have the chicken. I like the sauce. He was going into specific details of every part he enjoyed in the meal. Why not? Thank Hashem for it. And really, Be'emet, even on look at all the good things, and even the bad things, Be'emet, Besodi Sharim, Akol Letova. Everything at the end of the day is all good. And remember, if we thank Hashem, Simcha, even for the tzarot, for the difficult parts, then Hashem will always give us a bracha and give us many more reasons, Lismoach, Lodot Hashem, even for generations, because לעולם מידה טובה מרובה ממידת הפורענות. Okay. I hope you enjoyed the shiur. Thank you for listening. Thank you. Now, if you have any questions, I'm welcome to take any questions from the crowd.
I've got there's a basic question.
Is there any question on the shiur? Avi, is there anything you want to ask on the shiur, or Gilad? No?
No, it was, I understand everything.
Okay, Baruch Hashem. Thank you. Joe. Questions on any topic?
It's
Questions
a question on the shiur.
on any topic? Yeah.
Okay, well, I have two questions. One on the shiur. I read that God got angry. God got angry. Was at the spies?
Yes.
Or
We're angry for them crying. They looked badly, they spoke badly, and they cried for no reason.
so did they lie?
So
The spies lie.
yes. So in a way, there was a bit of truth and a bit of lie.
But did they speak badly deliberately? What was the reason?
No. So what was the reason? That's a different shiur we spoke about in previous years. Even they had the reason Hashem Shemayim, but they spoke badly. They didn't want to go in. In short, is they wanted to stay outside the Beret Yisrael because they wanted to stay with Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was the leader.
In the comfort zone.
Yeah, it was comfortable for them to be not in Eretz Yisrael. They didn't want to lose Moshe Rabbeinu. They wanted to remain the leaders of their tribes. And if they would go in, they would lose Moshe. They would lose their position.
Did they know that? Did they know that Moshe wasn't allowed?
Yes, so that's what it seems from the Farshim. That's what they knew. Some of the Farshim explained that was the Shem Shemayim. But nevertheless, that was the lesson that we learn is we're supposed to look at good things and speak goodly about everything, especially about Eretz Yisrael.
I've got another question actually on the shiur. You said God spoke to Avram and God spoke to Moshe. Did Moshe see God face to face?
So nobody saw God face to face. Okay, Moshe Rabbeinu asked to see. Moshe asked. He was the highest person, closest every person can get to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because of his anava.
What's anava?
However, sorry, because of anava. Anava is humility. Moshe realized that everything that he had was a gift from God. He attributed nothing to himself. All his greatness was a gift from Hashem. That is anava. So if there's nothing of yourself and everything is God, you're automatically close to God. Right? The more we think of ourselves, the more far away from our God. So and he says, you can't see the front, you can see the back of me. And he says, when it's in the crack of the rock, Hashem covered the rock and he moved over the presence of God. We don't know what that means, but he saw some image of the back of God, of the light of God, the presence of God, but he didn't see, there's no one who could see. He spoke to God, panim el panim, in the way that like we speak to each other. But obviously,
but
you can't see God and speak to God because ein lo guf, ve'en lo dmut haguf, and so it's only, what's the word?
Spiritual vision.
Figuratively. Yeah, but it's a figuratively speaking face to face. It means like I speak to you on Zoom face to face. Figuratively, that's the way he spoke to Hashem. But Hashem obviously has no face. Okay, thank you for that question.
One last question.
Please.
This is a general question. The earliest time we can pray mincha is halfway between sunrise and sunset, correct?
No, so half time between sunrise and sunset is chatzot. So mincha is a bit later, an hour after that. Shah Zmaniyot.
Okay. And is there what's the latest you can pray Arvit? Can you pray Arvit at 1 a.m.? Yes.
So there's Lachatchila and B'diavad. Lachatchila you can play up to Chatzot, midnight, okay, which varies summer and winter. What time is going to be? Some between 11:30 and 12:30, or whatever it is. And if you miss that, then you can pray until Alot HaShachar, which means until the earliest part of the dawn. Yeah, so you can play 2 a.m., 3 a.m. But Lachatchila, you want to be doing it beforehand, 10, 11, 12.
Right. Okay.
Right. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. Thanks for the answers. Very good.
Thank you. Can we have another question from the crowd? Abotai? Question on any topic. No? Avi?
Just I'm not sure if it's a question. It's so on my flight back from San Francisco, it was interesting because I'm not sure when to do shachrit, right? So the flight back basically left San Francisco at around 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
and then 4 hours later, because and then I'm flying east, right? So the obviously the clock is moving.
You're
forward.
flying with the sun, no? You're seeing
I'm
daylight.
flying with the sun, exactly. So what happened is that suddenly I find myself at around 3:30 a.m. San Francisco time,
Right.
looking outside, and I see the first light, or it's already daytime. And I'm
Okay.
like, okay, what do I do now? Okay, I do shachrit. I see light. There is no, you understand? So I'm putting my feeling.
Wait, so when you're on the flight, you see light. You leave when it's nighttime. Then in the middle
But
of the
I had no idea where I was, right? No idea.
Okay. And when you land?
No, when I landed, it was afternoon already in London. Late afternoon. It was
okay, so fine. בסדר גמור, man. בסדר
yeah,
גמור.
but I'm just, yeah. So that's it. There was no other way of. There was no other way of doing it. I had no idea where I am. What's my nothing, none. I just.
You'd have a similar situation if you lived in if you were in Iceland, in the summer.
No, I once did shachrit. I once did mincha at 12:30, like at basically half an hour past midnight. Mincha in North, yes, in North Norway, like at one of the Northest place on
North Norway. Nice.
Yeah, and Zmanei Hayom then, but then I had Zmanei Hayom. It was allowed.
Okay, thank you. Very interesting. Do we have any other questions?
No.
No?
תודה רבה, אבי.
תודה רבה.
I thank you all. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening. Wish you Shabbat Shalom V'rach. Sure, Bezat Hashem next week, same time on Thursday night. Then prepare good questions for next week, Bezat Hashem. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Avi. Good night, Mo. Good night. Good night, Meir. Thank you. Did a great job with that.